The PS4 had one of the strongest libraries of any console generation, but many great games were overlooked. Alongside the big blockbusters were dozens of titles that quietly built cult followings over the years. Today, we're looking at 10 of these hidden gems that you probably missed. This is a way to decompress. You spend your time moving through the ocean as a diver, bringing life back to reefs and finding old ruins along the way. The controls are built around a fluid 3-speed swimming system that lets you grab on to larger sea creatures to hitch a ride through the currents. There aren't any enemies or timers, it's just you and the water. It's a short trip, but the music and the colors make it one of the most calming experiences on the platform. It's the kind of experience that works when you just want to zone out and see where the water takes you. Alienation is a twin-stick shooter with an RPG progression system on top. You spend your time fighting off waves of aliens while looking for better weapons and gear to equip. The game uses a loot rarity system and a reload mechanic similar to Gears of War, where timing your button press perfectly gives you a faster reload and a damage boost. The screen gets crowded with enemies and explosions, but the controls stay responsive through the chaos. Cooperative play makes the experience even better, as everyone uses their abilities at the same time. You land on a quiet island full of screens, left to figure out the rules for yourself. Every puzzle is a line drawing test on a panel, but the rules for those lines change based on the colors, shapes, and even the sounds happening in the environment around the screen. Learning the logic happens by watching patterns and testing out different ideas, which makes solving a panel feel like you actually mastered a concept rather than being told what to do. The story is hidden in optional audio logs and background details, but the puzzle design carries the experience. The slow burn approach forces you to really think your way through the world. Drive Club had a rough start, but after the updates, it became one of the best-looking racers on the console. The weather system, especially how the rain looks on the car, is still impressive. The mechanics focus on clubs, where your individual performance in mini-challenges like drift zones or speed traps earns points for your team, even if you don't win the race. Underneath the social features is a driving model that balances realism with a more accessible arcade feel. It's a gorgeous racing experience that finally found its footing. Outlast is a survival horror experience where you have 0 ways to fight back. You're a journalist in an asylum with nothing but a camcorder to help you see in the dark. You have to constantly scavenge for spare batteries to keep your night vision running while leaning around corners to track enemy movements. Since fighting isn't an option, you spend your time hiding in lockers or under beds to stay alive. That lack of power is exactly why the tension stays high. Being permanently defenseless makes every encounter feel desperate. Concrete Genie has a visual identity you won't find anywhere else on the system. You play as an artist using a magical brush to bring creatures called genies to life on the walls. These genies have different elemental powers, like fire or wind, which you use to burn away obstacles or move objects in the real world. The gameplay centers on painting and environmental puzzles, but the themes of creativity and self-expression give it real heart. This project feels much more personal than a standard release. Guacamelee 2 mixes brawler combat with exploration, all set in a world inspired by Mexican folklore. You play as Juan, a luchador who gains new abilities like the rooster uppercut or frog slam, which double as traversal tools to break through color-coded blocks. The platforming gets difficult later on, and the variety in your moveset keeps the fighting from getting boring and stale. It builds on the ideas from the first game and expands the mechanics. This version feels vibrant and offers plenty of variety. Shadow of the Beast is a reimagining of a classic title with a dark fantasy art style that stands out. It mixes side-scrolling combat with light puzzles and a scoring system based on your combos. You have a blood meter that fills up as you kill, allowing you to trigger special attacks or heal yourself mid-fight. It's a shorter experience, but the unusual tone and the timing of your attacks make it memorable. It offers something different from the typical action games you find on the platform. Sakura Wars splits its time between theater management in 1940s Tokyo and mech combat. The LIPS system is the core mechanic, requiring you to make dialogue choices within a time limit that determine how much your teammates trust you. The focus stays on the character interactions and these choices, as fighting often takes a back seat to the relationships. For those interested in a story-driven experience with a strong cast, the presentation and characters carry this experience. It's not for everyone, but if you give it a chance, there's a lot here. Spelunky 2 takes the ideas from the original and adds more layers, secrets, and ways for things to go wrong. You navigate through destructible environments where you can ride mounts, cook turkeys for health, or use a liquid physics system to drain lava into water pools. Every run changes, and small mistakes can quickly lead to a disaster. It's tough, but it rewards patience and testing out how the world works in a way most roguelikes don't. The way enemies and traps interact creates chaotic moments that keep you coming back for more. These titles show that there's plenty to find on the PS4 if you look beyond the usual massive releases. Post a comment about any of these you've spent time with, or mention the ones you think should have been on the list. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing for more. We really appreciate you watching. Take care.